When an NBA team is going through a rebuild, they often resort to the draft to find their next star. Since the draft was inaugurated in 1950, there have been many players who exceeded expectations. These are the players who played at a much higher level than the average talent at their draft position. Such are what we refer to as draft steals. Today, we are looking at the biggest draft steals of each draft of the 2010s. The 2010 NBA draft class didn't feature much talent outside the lottery. Eric Bledsoe and Avery Bradley were drafted 18th and 19th respectively. However, because they were drafted relatively early, I'm going with Paul George, who was taken 10th overall. He's made 9 All-Star teams, 6 All-NBA teams, and 4 NBA All-Defensive teams. The gap in how far Paul George was picked compared to Bradley and Bledsoe is minimal. As a result, I'm taking him as a steal of the class. The 2011 NBA draft class was stacked with talent. Kawhi Leonard, arguably the best player in the NBA 4 years ago, was taken with the 15th pick. Jimmy Butler, one of the best players in this generation, was drafted 30th. These are both massive steals and would likely be my pick in a lot of other drafts. However, I'm going with Isaiah Thomas. Drafted 60th overall, he wasn't even supposed to see NBA minutes. However, he went on to become a 2-time All-Star and made an All-NBA team. He even led his Celtics to the conference finals in 2017. He's simply done a lot for anybody, let alone the last pick. The 2012 NBA draft featured great second-round talent. On one hand, Chris Middleton was selected with the 39th pick. He's a 3-time All-Star who helped the Bucks win a title in 2021. This class also featured Draymond Green, who was taken with the 35th pick. Draymond has already done a lot. He's made 2 All-NBA teams and 4 All-Star teams. He won the Defensive Player of the Year award and made 8 All-Defensive teams. Both guys were absolute steals, and it's crazy that they fell to the second round. I am going to say that Draymond Green was a bigger steal. His impact on the Warriors is second to none, and he is a key member in popularizing a small ball style of play. The 2013 NBA draft was a relatively easy selection. The biggest deal is
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis has arguably been the best player in the game for a few years now. He's taken the Bucks from a 15-win regular season team to NBA champs and perennial contender. Shout out to Rudy Gobert, who was drafted 27th overall. The 2014 draft class featured many great late selections. Jordan Clarkson drafted 46th, Jeremy Grant drafted 39th, and Kyle Anderson drafted 30th were all great picks. To me, Jokic at 41st seems to be the clear choice. He's the only player drafted in the second round to win the MVP award. At just 28 years old, he cemented himself as one of the greatest centers in NBA history, thus solidifying himself as the steal of the draft. The 2015 NBA draft class was a rather top-heavy class with top talents being taken in the lottery. Kevon Looney, an integral part of the Warriors, was taken with the 30th overall pick. The other option is Norman Powell, who was drafted 46th overall. I'm giving the slight edge to Powell over Looney. Powell was a lethal scorer, averaging north of 17 points for 7 straight seasons. On the Clippers, he does have a reduced role, but his efficiency has never been better. Given his own team, this is the guy who could probably average 25 a game. I picked him over Looney in large part due to the gap in their draft position. The biggest steal of the 2016 NBA draft class is a 2-man race. The 2 players it's between are Pascal Siakam, drafted 27th, and DeJounte Murray, drafted 29th. I'm going to go with Siakam simply because I believe he's a better overall player. He's also contributed to a championship run with the team that has drafted him. Now, he has a chance to contend in Indiana along Tyrese Halliburton. The 2017 draft class had a few players that could have won the title of the biggest steal. You could go with Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, or OG Anunoby. However, I'm going with Dylan Brooks, drafted 45th. Stats don't do his production justice, as the only real way to understand this pick is by watching him. He provides great on-ball defense while remaining a constant pest on that end of the floor. His scoring efficiency has also improved on the Rockets this season. Even though he isn't the best player in this draft, he certainly provided great value where he was taken. The 2018 draft was a relatively easy decision. I have Jalen Brunson drafted 33rd overall. As soon as he got the chance to be a lead guard for a team, he immediately shined. He looks to be a star for years to come, and drafting a guy like that in the second round is just insane. Lastly, the 2019 NBA draft class also had a few great late selections. There's Jordan Poole, Nick Claxton, Kevin Porter Jr., and Keldon Johnson. All these guys are great selections, but I'm going with Jordan Poole. At his best, he was simply the best player out of the bunch, displaying superstar potential. Although he hasn't played up to expectations this year, he still has the potential to become an all-star. So those are my biggest draft steals of each draft of the 2010s. Just a side note, a lot of players from these drafts are still playing, so these picks could easily switch down the line. Do you want me to continue the same series for other decades? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.